Mahalo everyone, and welcome back to the Jolly Scarecrows channel. Today I'm going to be presenting one of two decks, kind of themed around the coronation of King Charles in the UK, and we've actually been wanting to do a deck like this for a while, focusing on the Poker Knights, really just trying to abuse the effect of King's Knight, which is obviously in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Completely redundant, but was well used by Yugi in the DM anime to give him the 3 tribute monsters, which could let him summon the Egyptian god cards. And we thought we'd really hone in on this aspect of the deck, and so this is kind of Poker Knight Egyptian God Turbo. It's not obviously by any means competitive, but it can be pretty entertaining. And also relatively simple and easy to use, to be honest. The key cards of the deck are Joker's Straight and Joker's Wild. Both of them have this lovely effect where at the end of the turn, you can put one of your Poker Knights from the graveyard back to the deck to bring them back to your hand. And so obviously that works really well in keeping your hand size up, keeping your deck full of resources and your hand, and also in the event that you've got Slifer on the field, keeping your hand size up to give it more attack points. Joker Straight itself is discard 1, and you're hoping that that 1 is going to be Slifer, but really it doesn't matter. You're going to be often pitching one of your in-hand Poker Knights as well, because of what happens in the end phase. And then this lets you, it lets you special summon a Queen's Knight from the deck, it lets you add a King's Knight to your hand, and then normal summon it, so it then triggers its effect to allow you to special summon Jack's Knight from the deck. And so that's why we're running these in the ratios that we are. Obviously, you want to see Jack's Knight less. And then at the end of the turn, and this is the same with the trap card, if they're in the graveyard, as you can say, you can put one of your Light Warrior monsters back into your deck and then add this card back to the hand so you can reuse it. And if you've got these two, you can basically use them kind of every turn, so you can keep playing those 3 knights. And the reason you also want to do that is for the effect of Joker's Wild. So this basically lets you use any spell card from your deck, which lists those 3 cards. So that includes the face card Fusion, which lets you bring out the Arcana Knight Joker, and also Edict in the Conqueror. Actually, we tend not to do this. This is kind of more in here as its meanishness, because the real play you want to do is Thunder Speed Summon, which lets you both search your deck and normal summon out a question mark attack non-dark level 10. And so, I mean, it includes Arcana Knight Triumph Joker, which is your kind of themed boss monster. It has a little mini Slifer effect, 500 attack for each card in yours and your opponent's hand, and then you can discard a card to destroy or face up cards your opponent controls with the same type. And obviously it's quite nice that Joker's Straight and Joker's Wild recycle themselves, so if you are being bugged by a spell or trap card that's face up, discard it, pop it, and then it will come back to you in the end phase. And of course, it's really useful for getting Slifer the Sky Dragon, playing that, so it can destroy your opponent's monsters when they summon them, or lower their attack. And the little cherry on the cake is the Sphere mode play. And so bear in mind, with Thunder Speed Summon, it can work during the opponent's main phase or battle phase in itself, and then you can also use Joker's Wild in your main phase and battle phase. So in the situation where your opponent's got 3 monsters, you can play either of these cards, and depending on if you've got, obviously, your Poker Knights on the field, get the Sphere mode to your hand, and then special summon it to your opponent's side of the field, eliminating their 3 monsters and giving them this lovely used Sorb. If you want to, you can play a 3rd Slifer instead of Ra. I quite like having it there because sometimes you've got this in your hand, you've got your Poker Knights, and then you can just play it, go into the Ra. It'll have 4,000 attack and defense with its 1,000 life points to pop a monster, which isn't too bad. Then, the other little trick this deck has is the Revived Sky God. If you've not seen this card before, basically, Monster Reborn, a Slifer from your graveyard, and then draw up until 6. Your opponent gets to draw 2, and that's why we're also, as our kind of main hand trap, we're running Droll and Lockbird. So if you imagine your opening turn, You get yourself in the position where Slifer's in the grave, and you can do that quite easily through Foolish, through your discard with Joker's Straight, or it might just end up there if you've summoned it turn 1 and your opponent's destroyed it. Then, and you might even also, Joker's Wild can also, Joker's Wild into Joker's Straight, discard Slifer, bang, play Revive Sky God, draw 6, your opponent draws maybe 1, and then you can lock them off with Droll on Lockbird from using any of their draw cards. So that's how I quite like to operate this. Plus, you've then got a Slifer to interrupt their plays if they're going to use low attack monsters. Yeah, and then there's not really too much more to say about the deck. The rest of it's fairly self-explanatory. We've got in some staples. We've got in Droplet as another means to disrupt the opponent and get Slifer into the graveyard. And the deck has so much recursive potential that actually it doesn't matter that you're going to be sending monsters from your hand to the graveyard. Usually they're pretty much as good there as they are in your hand. I think only Droll on Lockbird is an exception to that. The extra deck, honestly, you don't go into it that much, which kind of might surprise you. You might think you go into extra Joker. To be honest, for the most part, you actually leave your Poker Knights on the field and you don't go into this Link 3 because it can only really prevent card effects that target. So it won't be able to affect kind of board wipey stuff. Extra Joker is better than the Knight Joker because this at least prevents your opponent from targeting cards it points to. So there can be situations where you can play Extra Joker and point it at a Slifer. That's quite nice. And then the rest of it, these are kind of more themed Xyz monsters, kind of around, champions, knights, things that you might also have within your medieval kingly units, essentially. You might argue that things like Zeus and Underworld Goddess don't fit that, but they are a little bit in there as ways of getting around boards and getting around problematic monsters. But obviously, you can add in things like Utopia Doubles and Bakuskas and Abyss Dwellers if you want to push the boat out a bit more. Okay. I think that's enough for this deck because it is relatively simple. I'm going to give you a few replays to show you how it works, and we'll see you for the second, slightly more controversial, but also I think potentially even more kingly deck video here on the Jolly Scarecrows channel. So what we've got here is pretty much an ideal starting hand. We've got the Revive Sky God, Slifer, and Joker's Straight all in starting hand, so we can easily ditch the Slifer until we've got that draw 6 ready and available for us. And we've also got a Thunder Speed summon there, so that once we use the Joker's Straight, have God Card Search live as well. Let's see what we do with it. Joker's Straight start, ditch Slifer, special summon Queen's Knight, normal summon King's Light, which lets us summon out Jack's Knight. We'll use Thunder Speed Summon. We'll search for Slifer. Summon it out with a nice 1000 attack. And we'll use the effect of Joker's Knight just because, gives us an extra body on the field. And we can recycle the cards anyway. Maybe in practice you might want to keep it in hand to keep Slifer's attack points up, but I don't think it matters too much. So as soon as they use their first card, we're going to go into the Revive Sky God. That lets us special summon the Slifer that we ditched using Joker's Straight, and then allow both players to draw 6. We've now got a huge starting hand. We didn't draw Droll on Lockbird, but in this instance we're not playing a deck that's strong enough, and because we've got our 2 Slifers, any monster they summon with less than 4000 attack is going to be instantly destroyed. This is where Droll might have been a bit handy, but as you can see, they're pretty much going to get destroyed, whatever monster they summon. The Slifer we special summon goes to the grave, but that's fine because we can actually use, we've top decked into Harpy's Feather Duster. That's a kind of a fortunate thing. But we can use the Revive Sky God to search Monster Reborn, put it on top of our deck, and then because we've got a Slifer in the grave, we get to draw one. Well, so we've got that Monster Reborn in hand. Use Joker Straight. to bring back out our Queen's Knight, Knight and Jack's Knight. And then, just because we can, we'll bring out the Winged Dragon of Ra with 7,900 attack to attack the game. Okay, so this duel, again, we've got a good start. We've got the Joker's Straight, we've got the Slifer, and we've got Thunder Speed Summon, and this time Droll and Lockbird too. The opponent's going to start, and they don't actually have a particularly good hand, so they're just doing a set 2 and summon. The deck's probably a bit better, though, than the last one. We'll use Prosperity. We will certainly see we get Joker's Wild, so we'll get that to the hand to allow us to do good plays turn 2. Straight will let us hopefully perform out our action, but as it happens, as soon as we summon the King's Knight, its effect gets negated and destroyed by Solemn Strike. So what we can then do is tribute Queen's Knight for Jack's Knight as just a normal summon, and we can then power over the Trickstar. During their end phase, they're going to chain Scapegoat, whilst we use Joker's Straight to recycle our Queen's Knight. And so into their turn, obviously they've got a good potential to link things off here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Joker's Wild, ditch Joker's Straight to bring our Poker Knights to the field. As you can see now, we've got all the Poker Knights we need, and so our Thunder Speed summon now lets us search for any God card and use it. And so as soon as they get into the position here, they've got 3 monsters, and they've even got an equip on it 2 to boot. I'm going to use Thunder Speed summon, search for Sphere mode in this instance, which would be a better play than Slifer because of the lack of attack points I've got in the hand. Tribute all of their monsters and give them a 0 attack point Sphere mode. They do have Eater of Millions, so they are going to get rid of a monster. They go for Jack's Knight. I think that's a kind of a bot thing to do. Queen's Knight would have probably been the one, though it does potentially limit our ability to use Joker's Straight in future. We can't use it now this turn because one Jack's Knight is banished and one is on the field. But we are able to bring out the Triumph Joker, so this, if we discarded Droll and Lockbird, this would eliminate both of their creatures on the field. Instead, I use Joker's Straight to just search for more monsters. And with those that we're able to get, I'll bring out the Stellar Knight Deltaros, which has a detach for 1 destruction effect, plus while it has material, your opponent can't activate effects or cards when I normal summon stuff, so maybe if I brought out King's Knight after this, that wouldn't have been so costly. Plus it lets me get rid of Eater of Millions. Can't do anything because Ra's on their field. Look at their last Scapegoat, rather annoyingly. But their extra deck is fairly, well, it's not as good as it was. They draw into Solemn Strike. Security Dragon bounces the Triumph Joker. They bring out Nightmare Unicorn, ditch the strike to send back the Stellar Knight, and so they're now stuck against a Sphere mode. But the decks were kind of key defining feature. It's recursion. Joker's Straight just keeps coming back. We can keep bringing back the King's Knight, Queen's Knight, and Jack's Knight combo, and eventually overwhelm the opponent using cards. In this instance, now we're going to bring back this Heroic Champion, which has a really cool effect where you can just, it's basically a bit like a mini Ra. So as you've seen, I've paid life points down to 500, and now it's going to gain attack points. So now it's up to 5,000, plus with its own effect, it's going to go up to 7,200, eliminate Nightmare Unicorn, and Jack's Knight will attack the game. So I hope you've enjoyed those 2 replays, and if you want to use this deck, the YuGiOh file will be in the description. And yeah, let's see how it fares against the next deck we're going to see on the channel in a day or two's time. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, hope you have a pleasant day.